And for our guest today, we have Mr. David Newman. He is with the PEC company, and he was with us in this last TV series. I guess you could call this as being part 2. And we also have Glenn Cologne, and he's one of the instructors. And at this stage, what we're going to talk about this program, or rather this segment, is about job placement, job opportunities. So, David, you take it, see what.
Thank you. Well, big thing that I wanted to mention is that this isn't just a training that you're going to come to and you're going to get through all 5 weeks, and at the end of it, we're going to kick you out the door and say goodbye. Have a good one. Figure it out for yourself. We're not trying to do that, things, guys. Like I said, in our previous talks, we've said we really want to help veterans, so we're taking that extra step in helping them build the resume and doing all that, job placement stuff. Well, we also, on graduation day, we bring a series, a number of employers actually down to the training facility.
You're bringing employees down to the training
down to the training facility, and they actually get to sit across from HR representatives, recruiting representatives, and in some cases even hiring managers, and they get to sit across from these people and have their first interview on the spot. Excuse me. For our first class, we had 7 students and we had 7 employers. So we had a really great ratio. This past class, I want to say we had 10 employers and I think we had 12 students. So, I mean, the student to employer ratio is great. For something like that, if you have 12 guys and 10 employers, all it takes is 2 to pick up 2 guys.
That's it.
And everyone's taking care of that.
What type of, if you don't mind, maybe mention maybe a couple of them as for a job, and not job, but one of those companies that you've been involved with.
Well,
what are the names?
We have done some work with Schlumberger. We've actually had a couple of guys get hired with Schlumberger. We also have worked with Setco, and they have hired a handful of our guys. Custom Compressions is one. Tetra Tech out there, their main office out of Houston. Mm-hmm. They drove down and come to take a look at our candidates. Total Safety here in Broussard.
So there's a lot of companies that's
Dennis Carroll.
Dennis and Carroll's a staffing agency in the Lafayette, and they got several offices in La Rose, and they're a staffing agency. And when they first heard about the Battlefield to Oilfield, they got real excited because that's a great place to go and look. So I think they're working on the process of joining together.
Well, Danos has actually come down to the training facility and spent an afternoon with the guys and done mock interviews with them and taught them the do's and don'ts of the interviews and from an HR perspective. It's really cool to see the support that we are getting from these oil and gas companies, and their interest in these veterans.
Because I do know that majority of the time, a job is lost in the interview, and usually it's the first 1 or 2 questions. Yeah. And the biggest question that I find that most people lose it is when they ask a simple question: "Tell me about yourself." And a lot of people want to tell me their whole life story. That's not what you want to do, okay? Because sometimes too much information is bad. So what happened is that I can understand going through the different types of mock interviews and training. That's all that does is really help the veteran and even non-veterans as well. But the main thing is though that at least whenever they go into an interview, their mindset is focused on the interview.
Yeah.
Whereas prior to that, they may walk in and not knowing what to expect and don't know what to think about how to answer the questions. What is most important to an employer? And one of the questions I usually ask my veterans say, look, whose needs are you trying to meet? Yours or the employer's? And about 100% of the time they say, well, my needs. I said, to be quite frank, I won't hire you. I'm not here to fill your needs. I'm here to fill my needs.
That's right.
And once that get across to them, then they're okay, well, they just kind of refocus,
Yeah.
But if you guys go to that distance as far as helping them with employment and bringing employers in here to monitor and review or whatever you want to call it, and then sit down with them and do an interview with them. I mean, you guys are really going above and beyond what most companies do. And it's really geared to really help the oil and gas industry. I hope there's other industries that will do the same.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a lot of certification that you guys bring to the table that can go into other industries.
Oh, yes.
You see, so.
And that's the key as an instructor. A majority of the training I do, yes, I'm very interested in them being safe at work, you know, but I always turn it into take that home. When we teach first aid, CPR, you know, do you have the necessary first aid equipment at home? When we get into firefighting, okay, or fire protection, when's the last time have you checked your fire extinguishers or you checked your smoke alarm systems? So you bring that all in together and it makes it a better, you know, overall class, because anytime you add something personal to it, they can relate to it.
Yes.
And you can use it automatically. And that's how we try to integrate all of the training that we do.
Well, that's good, that's good. Do you guys actually go out, not say go out to the field, but more or less, like I went to a firefighting class, school, where they bring you out there, and I forgot who taught us that class, but I worked for the oil company, how to fight different types of fire on the platform. That was fun. But he did make a large impression upon us that we better fight for a place to stand. Otherwise, we're not in a good position to be jumping overboard. So, but at the same time, though, there are a lot of certification you guys that bring, like Glenn said, going into safety and everything else. Then you can you can do it in your ordinary life, you know, and the CPRs or whatever else. I know you got major training and certification training as well that you go through. All that can be applied towards life.
Absolutely.
You know, but if you guys are bringing employees in, I think that's one of the biggest advantages you guys have, because now the industry is looking at you guys.
Yeah, and we like to create partnerships with these, oil and gas companies, because we would like to see them come back and hire more and more guys out of the program as it continues to grow, and be able to really not just help these veterans, but also fill the needs of the oil and gas industry.
Yeah,
because they have trouble keeping guys sometimes, and we want to try and eliminate as much of that as we can.
Another thing too is that I realize when the guys come in here to get involved with the GI Bill and so forth, it doesn't cost them nothing. But what about the non-vet? What kind of financial burdens bring upon them as far as, do they have access to student loans or whatever that
We don't provide anything as of right now. They can go out on their own and go secure a student loan. Mm-hmm. We actually had a veteran who had used all his GI Bill, but really wanted to come to the training and did that. And so, we worked with him on it. However, I think what would be great for us to move towards is becoming maybe an approved lender with Chase or somebody who has their USAA, who's very military friendly. Mm-hmm. And that way we can kind of help these guys who maybe have 70% of the GI Bill and get that $3,000 difference or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever the cost would be.
Yeah. Besides the battlefield, the oil fields for the non-vets, if the employer would send them here and the employer pays for the training.
Yeah.
See, that's the portion that I do here at ISCS in the Lafayette area. There's well over 50 compliance training that has to be met, and usually it's on an annual basis. So what they do is they pay for the third party, which is us, to give them this compliance training. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. That's our main business. The battlefield to all field is how can we plug in and assist the veterans in getting the training, so when they go into the job market, they're not competing at the upper level.
Yeah.
They at the level with all the training, so they don't feel like, I gotta fight my way up to the top. How can I get on the top level? Well, when you go out there and you show the employee you got 50-something compliance training, that equals to well over $10,000-$15,000.
Well,
You go up on their list.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to end this segment, and I'm glad this is really coming down the pike. But we'll be back for the next segment, okay? Okay, Kellyanne, we're back, and we'd like to go through the process that you have to go through with this organization in order to be a part of it. So, David, let us see what's going on.
All right. Well, one of the first places to go look at and just check out is our website. It's www.battlefieldstoilfields.com. It's no
Okay.
plain as can be, just
Right.
And on there, there's probably, I want to say 6 tabs. We have, just about the training, how the training works. There's a media page where you can get all kinds of cool little desktop backgrounds. You can see graduation pictures, all kinds of neat stuff on there. Some of our radio interviews are up there as well. There's just a lot of good knowledge on there. So there's a apply now button on the homepage. They can go through, fill out the application, and it kind of gives us, that's our first step in seeing, okay, well, this guy has reliable transportation and he's got his valid driver's license. He's 70% connected, disability. Let's find out what that's about. See if we can help him.
Okay.
And then we go from there. We need to get the DDQ-14 from him. We like to get a working resume just so we can start
Okay.
kind of figure out how we can help this specific person, with their experience and whatnot. And then, we have instructions actually on how to go about applying for the One App. And I'm available to these guys. They can give me a call if they have questions. I'll fill out a One App myself. And so I'm familiar with the process. And I like to sit and work with these guys for a while. Once we have all the documentation, it's really kind of more or less a waiting game, and it's we've already approved you by that point. The documentation is what takes the longest from the VA. So once we're there, we pretty much are just waiting for the start date of the class, and then we get them down there in Morgan City after they get their acceptance letter and all that, and I'll get to finally meet these hopefully 15 guys that I've been talking to for the past month and a half to come to this class. So it's a good experience, after talking to all of them and kind of creating this relationship and bond just over the phone.
Right.
To actually go down and shake their hands on day one and say, "Hey guys, I'm the jerk that put you here."
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
So, it's a fairly simple process, but again, that website's kind of key. And then we also have Facebook. But again, you can just type into Facebook Battlefields to Oilfields. We're the first one that comes up, or the only one that comes up. And they can kind of follow us on there too if they're just not sure what they want to do and they just want to see what's going on with the program, and as it grows, if it becomes something for them or whatever, you just want to support it and go there, like it, and then you'll be able to see some of the stuff we post, pictures of the guys training, and when graduations are and things like that.
Yeah. What is the oldest individual that you have trained in this?
I want to say, I'll go with the modest answer.
Okay.
I want to say it was a couple years older, but a 45-year-old guys.
Okay, so, okay. Because I do know that once you pass 50, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult physically, a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
But I do know that when you get involved with the process, if you do not follow the process, then chances are it's not going to be accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't follow the process and I don't have the proper paperwork and you don't seem like you're really that interested in it, we will give you a second shot. We'll work with you. We're not just.
No, the reason I'm saying that is because I know that when employers put job orders on our system, the LA Work system, okay, it says at the bottom how to apply. You click apply, and you go to another field that says apply by email, telephone, whatever, right? Yeah. If they give you choices, that's fine. But if they only give you two choices and say email or fax it, for heaven's sakes, don't go to their place of business.
Yeah.
Because they're more likely, they'll give you an application, but they'll take it and just put it on the side or maybe throw it in the trash can. Because that's not the process. Not only that, it lets them know that you can't follow the directions.
There's a certain protocol that you
That's
need
right.
to take, and there's always a contact number, you know, for David in the office, to where if you're not quite sure, they're more than happy, you know, to take your call and guide you into the direction
Yeah.
you need to get.
I filled out an application a couple of years ago just to fill it out. And it took me 2.5 hours for the application online and the little pre-questionnaire. The pre-questionnaire was like 150 questions. It was through a banking industry, okay? And I was very frustrated. And toward the end, I clicked submit, no problem. I said, well, that's fine. I'll never hear from them, you know? 45 minutes later, I get a telephone call.
Wow.
You know where they were calling from? Chicago. We did an interview on the phone.
Yeah.
And they wanted to hire me. But guess what? They were hiring me for a position here locally. So, if you go to an employer and want to just walk in and get an application, you don't know who's in charge.
Yeah.
So you have to know the process, you have to follow the process, otherwise the chances of you being seen or even heard of, for that matter, is very remote, because the person that you get into have no clue as to what's going on.
Yeah, well, that's another beauty of this program is, you know, before I went in the military, I walked through a mall and handed 15 generic applications and ended up with a job down that day, just because I was personal. You can't do that anymore. And so many, especially with big companies and, you know, real world companies, you know, oil and gas companies and whatnot, everything's online. You got to go through these certain protocols and all the HR stuff. Well, we kind of get these guys in through the back door, and, you know, on day one. And so they get the opportunity before anyone ever makes that judgment of them, or, oh, well, he doesn't have this degree or whatever. Before any of that takes place, you know, they get the opportunity to sit in front of the employer and sell themselves. This is why you need me. And you're just not going to get that anywhere in this day and age anymore.
Well, because of technology, employers prefer to use email, website, fax. Very seldom they say call, and very seldom they say apply in person.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do not really follow instructions, chance of you even walking through the door. And something else too, like when the guy sit down at my desk and talking about the resume. Well, I let them know right up front, if you're gonna be doing resumes provided to someone, understand an employee only looks at the resume for about 8 seconds. You don't have a whole lot of time you're reading and writing. They're looking for keywords, key phrases. So I try to help them out that way, try to understand. Now, the resume is you. It's an image of you. Now, if that employer looks at your resume and likes what he sees, or they see, call you in for an interview, when you walk through the door, you better look like, act like, and talk like that resume. Because if you don't, guess what? It's going to be a short interview. So I can appreciate employees coming through here prior to basically the initial interview, like a pre-interview, coming in and talking with the guys. I really appreciate that, man. That's a good technique.
We're trying to even move it even further in our upcoming classes. What we're trying to do is get send in company to do a Skype interview halfway through the training.
Okay.
So with an individual,
Yeah,
send
right.
out the resumes, and which we do now. They have the resumes ahead of time, but we would like before graduation comes for them to be able to do these Skype interviews as frequently as the company wants and as the students can arrange.
That's right.
And then by the time that they leave, they can have their final interview at graduation or get their offer at graduation. And you know, that's kind of what we're moving toward, because we're seeing it's taking, you know, about 2.5, 3 weeks for these guys to get jobs on average, just because of all the HR
Yeah,
that they have to go through,
Well,
which is reasonable and
I'll
acceptable.
tell you something else too. You talk about Skype. The young man, whoever can look at, can use the Skype program. They're not looking at a person.
Yeah.
They see a person. That's
Yeah.
it's you're on TV.
Yeah.
You know, so you see everything. But anyway, I'll tell you what. This ends this session, and really, I'm very glad to have these guys coming on board, and I know they're gonna be with us again in the future. So you guys take it easy. Dave, man, thanks a lot.
Thank you again.
Thank you for doing, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And the same thing with you, Glenn.
Thank you.
And let's make things happen, Katie.